Today is August the 26th, 2015. My name is Tanya Finchum, along with Alex Bishop, and we're with Oklahoma State University. We're in Broken Arrow today to speak with Louis Hile. Louis Hile.
Hile.
And this is part of our Oklahoma 100-Year Life project. So thank you for talking with us today.
Okay.
Let's begin with having you tell us when and where you were born.
I was born June the 29th, 1915, Peoria, Oklahoma.
Peoria.
Peoria?
Peoria?
Peoria.
Okay.
I'm not sure where that is.
That's the last town in northeast Oklahoma.
Okay. Almost in Kansas?
How?
Almost in Kansas?
Peoria likes about 6 miles of being in Kansas, 2 miles of being in Missouri.
So barely Oklahoma.
Barely Oklahoma.
And did you have brothers and sisters?
No. No brothers or sisters.
You are an only child?
I'm an only child. Well, I had a brother, but he died pretty young.
Okay.
No remembering. And my mother died when I was pretty young.
From what?
I don't know.
Well, what did your dad do for a living?
He was a miner. Worked in the lead and zinc mines in Picher
Picher.
and Peoria. There was lead and zinc man Peoria also.
Did he live in a company house?
No. No, I lived in a little 2-room shack.
Did it have running water?
No. Not unless it's in the creek.
How about electricity?
No, not till I was about 30 years old.
Well, did you go to school in Picher?
No, Peoria and Seneca, Missouri, which is 16 miles out.
Well, did you move? Or just...
No, yeah, we moved.
You moved.
My father run a little grocery store while I was there.
Okay.
I didn't get very much schooling there, but most of it was in Peoria.
Well, did you graduate high school?
No,
How far did you get?
about 11th grade.
So close.
Yeah. He started 11th grade. Then after I was married, I came back to Kendall School here in Tulsa. I was there about 9 months. Then went back to Peoria. Got me to do the job at Quapaw in a machine shop. I worked there for, close to a year. Then I went on to Picher to what's called the Cox Machinery. And finally we got to be the runner of it.
What kind of machinery?
Well, it was mostly mining field machinery, but I got a few little government subcontracts.
Well, you got married before you finished high school?
No, I was 23 when
23, okay.
I got married. My wife was 19.
How'd you meet her?
Church.
So that would have been about Depression time?
It was in Depression time, and also dust storm days.
Do you remember anything about those days?
Yes, I can.
Well, tell us a few.
Well, I've seen it so dusty you couldn't see a quarter of a mile. Dust coming up that little valley through Peoria. Hill, on north and south end, you just put them right in there. So dust got pretty bad.
How would you handle it?
As easy as I could.
And the Depression?
How?
And the Depression?
Depression, I cut wood for a living. For 65 cents a rig.
So you had to do what you had to do.
I done what I had to do.
Yeah.
but I've always managed to get something to eat.
Well, were you in the military?
No,
You didn't go to World War II?
no,
No?
no, I was doing government work, but Wasn't it?
Helping on the home front.
yeah.
So what was Picher like back in those early days?
Was a rough town
Rough.
and big. I've seen Picher when the population around 2,000. Now it's gone.
It's gone. Were you there when all that was happening?
Well, that when most of it was happening. I've been underground a lot there. My job don't take me down for repair machinery and things.
Would you wear any protective mask
No.
or anything?
No.
No.
No, the air was pretty good, only it was under pressure.
Okay. Well, where did you live there?
I lived about a block from the shop.
And when you became the owner, did you change the name?
No,
No. Stayed called?
left it the same. Because there's a lot of paperwork already made up, you know, and I just went ahead and used it. I never changed the name.
So you got married when? 19?
I got married on September the 3rd, 1926.
Or 36?
36.
I mean, it'd be 36.
36.
23 years old.
What would you do for a date?
For a date,
Uh-huh.
well, I managed to have an old bottle of Ford. And went to church, you know, and met my wife, and of course had just a few days with her, then got married.
Just a few. How soon did you get married after you met her?
About 3 months.
That was a little quick.
And I got a good woman,
What was her name?
Pearl May,
Pearl May.
Crabtree.
And did y'all have children?
6. 4 girls, 2 boys. I lost one of the boys in service.
They kept you busy.
The other 5 still living.
Okay. They kept you pretty busy?
They kept me busy day and night, nearly. There was a lot of days I went to work at, 8 o'clock, didn't get off till midnight.
So it kept your wife busy then.
She was well busy.
Did she work outside of the home?
No.
She had too much to do in the home.
Yep, she was a home girl.
Well, your first house that you lived in with her, what was it like?
It was a little trailer. I built on a car frame. Just the one room, had room for a little bunk bed in one end of it, and a little old stove to cook on in the other end, and a table where you pull it off out of the wall, turn it down. Well, in about a 5 by 10, you ain't gonna put too much in it.
That's not too big of a space.
And we lived just about a mile south of Peoria, on a little branch.
So running water.
Yeah.
Well, when you were growing up, did you have to do chores around the house?
They never expected me to do anything. I just done it on my own.
So a spoiled only child.
And I've cut a lot of wood too, for as low as 65 cents a rick.
How old were you when your mom? You said your mom passed away early. How old were you?
What?
How old were you when your mom passed away?
I'm about 9 or 10 years old.
And your dad raised you? On
No,
his
grandmother.
grandmother.
Your mother's mother or your dad's mother?
My dad's mother.
Dad's mother.
Did she live with you?
No. No, she had a husband of her own, which was been a step-granddad to me.
So you were raised by your grandma?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
And what was her name?
Etna Rosetta Klein.
K-L, well,
C-L-I-N-E.
C, okay.
Now, did she put you to work?
Just doing little odds and ends.
Mm-hmm.
But I was idle most of the time, running around over town.
Would she make your clothes?
Yeah, she had seen that I got clothes.
How often would you get a new pair of shoes
About every fall
for school? Yeah.
for school.
What would you pack for your lunch for school?
I came home for
Oh, you live close
School.
enough?
lunch.
Well, that's handy.
Oh yeah, Peoria was a big town. Population probably 100. And it's still about like that. No place for it to grow though. Pretty good hills on each side, just room enough for a stream to run down between the hills.
Well, how far is Peoria to Picher?
14 mile.
14, okay. So you didn't move too far from
No.
home? So when it was Picher was a Superfund spot?
Yeah.
Picher was a Superfund? The government had to come in and buy out people?
That was a Superfund
Superfund.
that took the town.
Did they take your part?
Oh, yeah, they took mine, and when I had to move, I moved over to Weimar, and just a month later I lost a wife. But she was sick when she left Picher. But she knows that, had to leave.
They made you leave.
They made us leave.
Well, why?
How?
Why did they make you leave?
Superfund.
Superfund?
But it was pollution or no? It was
Pollution.
pollution. Making people sick.
They claimed it was, but I never seen too much of it.
Well, and
And you were in the mines.
I was on top big part of the time, but a lot of time work took me underground.
You ever recall any stories back then of having to go under? Or?
No, I always had pretty good luck. I always went where there's pretty good air. And get the equipment out, where there was good air for me to work on it. I didn't have to go back in the big holes. Some of the holes I worked in cover 6-7 acres and about 200 foot from the floor to the roof of the
big hole then.
big holes.
Well, how did you learn how to fix machines?
Here's Kendall College.
Kendall College.
College.
I don't know anything about that one.
Well, it's been gone for so many years. At that time, Harvard was the city limits of Tulsa.
Oh, okay. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh.
Birthday, the step place settled out in there. Nearly everyone had a big enough space for a garden.
Well, how did you pay to go to Kendall?
The government paid me. I was a WPA.
Okay. That's good. What else did they do during that time for you?
Well, I worked on the road a little bit before they sent me down there.
And it was how long was the program? A year or?
Down here, yeah.
About
just
a year?
A little less than a year, I'd say about 9 months.
WPA.
WPA.
Built a lot of sidewalks, didn't they?
Yeah, little bridges across the creeks that where there wasn't hardly anyone ever crossed.
And I understand they did some bathrooms, outhouses, too, WPA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, outside.
So to do WPA, you had to be so young, you had to be a certain age.
No, people of all ages on that. They done quite a little road work, too. You know, building better roads.
So you were married when you did that?
Yeah.
You were married when you did the WPA?
Well, what would you do for fun as a kid?
How?
What would you do for fun and entertainment as a kid, growing up in such a small town?
Well, they was done pretty good. Everybody was pretty friendly. Once in a while you'd see a fight, but
Did they
I
have
think that'd be normal in a place like that.
Did they have a movie house?
No,
No.
no.
Baseball.
Had to draw water out of a well that was about 20 foot deep.
Did it have a baseball team?
They did. Even the kids and the men too. And they had some of the women even out and played baseball.
Would you ever go to Miami?
It was a long ways to buy them, a 14 mile. And that's a little bit far to walk.
Have a horse and buggy?
No, I never did have a buggy or
Or a horse?
own a horse. I rode a lot of them, but I never actually owned any of them.
Your dad had them? No?
No.
No?
What about the trolley? They say there was a trolley between Picher and Miami. Did you ever ride the trolley?
Trolleys? Oh yes, I rode trolleys from Picher to Miami. I rode the trolleys from Picher to Plumber. Doggone it, I can't think of that. About 16 miles up in Missouri, northeast of Joplin. And I got on the Kansas deal. Went up around up through Coffeyville over to some other town, and then come south to Bartlesville on a streetcar. That streetcar was so slow, it took 10 hours for it to make that trip.
Do you remember how much it cost
Yeah, $1.
to do
And
that?
that was a lot of money.
That was a lot.
And then $1 to come back. But you could go to Joplin on a dime.
What would you do there?
Practically nothing. You see a big town.
See a big town.
Or we thought it big, it wasn't too big then. But look the size of it now.
It's big. Well, when your wife was having children, did she have them at home?
How?
Did she have her children at home?
Yeah.
Your wife?
Like myself, didn't have a doctor.
Didn't have a doctor.
No.
Kind of scary?
No. 'Cause there's women there to take care of you as good as a doctor would, or better.
Like a midwife?
Midwife.
Mm.
No, there was a doctor that set aside by birth certificate, but he wasn't there.
Well, when they would get sick, where would they go to the doctor? If they got sick?
They got sick enough, they'd go to Joplin.
Joplin, okay. Instead of Tulsa?
16 mile up there.
Closer to go there than come here?
Oh, they didn't think about coming to Port Tulsa. Well, you know, Veneta, that made a pretty good town.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's a little closer.
Yeah.
And I think they had a hospital. They may have had a hospital too.
The state had a hospital there.
The mental hospital was there,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Now, you said you owned your own shop. Did you ever have any employees?
Yes. I've had as high as 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
And then make money enough to pay them their wages. Then they have to pay their Social Security.
Pretty good boss?
Well, I don't know what it was about. The heck of it was, 2 of them wound up being my son-in-laws.
Were they all men?
It's all men, yeah.
Didn't hire a woman?
Just my wife.
Well, you didn't hire her.
Bookkeeper.
Oh, bookkeeper. Okay. She kept the numbers.
And 2 of my daughters made pretty good lathe operators.
You taught them how?
Yeah.
You taught
Taught
them?
them how.
That's pretty neat.
I wound up with some awful big machinery though. The government furnished it.
Well, when did you had to close when you moved, when they bought you out?
I closed it before they bought it out
Before.
because the mine went down.
Okay. That would have been what, in the,
I went down over what was going to happen, you know.
about what time was that? What year? Do you know, remember?
I don't remember right now.
In the 70s, or was it more in the 80s?
No, it was born in the 80s.
80s. So it's been a while.
Been a while.
Well, how did you end up here in Broken Arrow?
I had a daughter that lived about 4 blocks over here, and after my wife passed away, I by myself there in just a little rent house. They come and brought me down here to a little town over here. I can't call names anymore.
It's okay.
But she brought me down there and had the ice storm, and I cleaned up her place to, you know, get timber falling and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, my daughter lived over here, I think, the one that got me in here.
So you were cutting wood in
the early days before
but you were cutting it
the
again.
WPA.
No, but when you were cleaning up her place, hopefully she paid you more than 65 cents an hour.
I didn't charge her nothing. I was getting meats.
Get needs.
I know what it is. That thing was come to. Now she's back, you know, out of town there. There's quite a little timber around the house. I had lots to clean up.
It was bad, wasn't it? I remember. That was in 2007, around in there.
You was what?
So that was about 2007. The storm came through. The ice storm was in 2007.
Yeah, about that.
Right in there.
Long time it's close to that. I've been here ever since. Well, I got sick and wound up in Arizona. I think I was out there about 4 or 5 months.
What was wrong?
I never did know. I didn't know when I went out there. I do know about coming back, but I don't know how I got out there.
Well,
They just said my mind just completely left me for a while.
well, you got it back.
I got it back. The only thing was, I know I was in an oncology hospital out there.
The cancer.
I don't know what it was. I just had a little folder around there for it. Several of the nurses signed it. It's hanging on the wall right over. And I can't tell you a thing about where it's at or anything about it.
That's okay.
I just, my mind, I just went blank.
Well, they fixed you and sent you back.
And I've heard that the doctor gave me the wrong blood medicine. I don't know how that could happen.
I guess it does, though, doesn't it? Well, did you ever think you'd make it to 100?
I never given any thought how long I was going to live. I'm the same way yet. I just be here as long as I can.
Well, how old was your father when he passed?
About 68, 69, somewhere in there.
And your grandmother that raised you?
Well, she died at about 60. But that's old for
Then it was.
that time.
Anybody else in your family make it to 100?
My grandmother Nichols, I don't know how old she got, but she got pretty old. And I don't know if she's all old or just give out. You know, you couldn't hardly get around.
Well, what do you think your secret is?
How?
What do you think your secret is?
Well, I don't know. I just look, I guess.
I think it's being happy. You're happy.
Well, I tried to have a lot of fun all the time. Still that way. We
What?
done early to torment some of the people. And they all know me.
They will watch out for you. Do you play practical jokes?
Practical jokes, yeah.
Well, how early do you get up?
How
early do you get up?
Well, usually about 5:30, 6 o'clock,
And go to bed?
9.
That's a pretty long day. What do you do during the day?
I do a lot of walking.
Okay.
I walk up and down these hallways, one end of the building to the other, then maybe change it to a different floor.
And I noticed you work puzzles.
The beautician, I went, to get my hair cut yesterday, get my feet took care of. She got after me, my feet being calloused. So I guess I get calluses on my feet.
I keep walking though.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed you work puzzles.
Just a little bit at a time. I can't work for only about 15, 20 minutes. My eyes get small, then I back off.
Well, that's a good pastime. Do you read?
Very little anymore.
Well, when you did you read novels or newspapers or what?
Oh, I look at that paper every day, go through the sports column.
Did you ever play sports?
How?
Did you ever play any sport?
Baseball.
Baseball?
I played just a little football, but that was too rough for me. I wasn't big enough.
What position did you play in baseball?
All of them.
All of them.
Mostly the catcher.
Well, what do you follow in the newspaper? Baseball?
Yeah,
Baseball.
and I watched the football too quite a little bit. Football season here gonna be going by for very long.
Who's your team?
I haven't picked any. Now in baseball, my team is Kansas City Royals and Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay. Not the
They've been my favorite for years. Kansas City, they do too good until this year, but St. Louis has been in World Series a lot of times.
Did you ever go to a game?
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah, I've seen them both play.
cool. I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan.
How?
I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan.
You are.
Uh-huh.
They're do pretty good.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Oh, most of the time. They're better than halfway, seeing on through. They won about half of their games.
Yeah. So you do keep up.
Well, how important was church growing up?
How?
Mm-hmm. Well, how important was church?
Oh,
when you grew up?
it was a must for quite a while.
Did your grandmother make you go, or your father?
Neither one. I was started going just before I got married. Just started on my own. Well, the minister of the church, I knew him pretty well, and he talked me into it.
What church?
Assembly of God.
Assembly
at
of
that
God.
time. I go to the Christian now,
Okay.
Cedar Hill.
Well, after church, then, when you were younger, would you go back and have dinner with your grandmother?
Very seldom. I fixed my own dinner many a time.
What would you fix?
Just anything I could find to fix.
Fried.
But I'm eating things now that I wouldn't have thought about eating back there then.
Like what?
Huh?
Like what?
Like tomatoes, for one thing. We thought tomatoes was poison.
Really? They're sure good.
Yeah, they are now, but back then, there's some kind of poison they claimed they had them.
Well, would you fry chicken?
Oh yeah, I can still fry chicken. And I like chicken yet too.
Well, did you raise chickens?
Yeah.
And so when it was time to kill them, did you do it?
How?
Yeah, how did you?
No, my wife could beat me killing a chicken. She'd get one with the head, give it a little flip. She had the head and the chicken's out there flopping some more.
She's better at it than you, huh?
Oh, she's good at it.
What, did she sew?
Yeah.
Your wife, did she sew?
She sewed quite a bit. And she was just a pretty good housekeeper. Kids always had clothes.
Well, when the kids got in trouble, who would punish them?
She did.
She did. What did she do?
She blistered them.
Did you ever take a family vacation? Did you ever travel with
One time, one of the girls, older girls, got married and moved to Montana. We gave it up, went plumb up there to see her once. It's kind of rough on the kids going that far, but
That's a long
the
way.
younger ones.
That wasn't in your Model A.
How?
You had a different car from your Model A.
Oh yeah, I had a Chevrolet. And above all, it was a Vega.
A Vega.
And there was when they made that little four-cylinder, it didn't prove to be that very poor car.
Yeah, I remember those. Well, was your Model A when you bought it a new one or used?
Used.
Used. Who taught you how to drive?
I taught myself. I started driving cars though when I was about 9 years old. Them old T-model Fords.
Who would let you do that?
My dad.
Would he? Roads were paved or dirt?
Yeah,
The roads were paved or dirt?
the dirt. I was pretty good size when I seen the first paved road. The first surface road that was Bama had laid brick in the street.
Wow.
Had brick streets.
And learned to change tires on that Model A?
Oh yes. I changed tires on T-models too.
Had to do it a lot. Inner tubes?
How
The inner tubes?
the inner tubes, I patched them and mount the tar on the wheel.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
I sure have.
What do you think's been the biggest invention?
The what?
Biggest invention during your life?
The radio.
Really?
TV. I didn't think that would ever work first of the scene. I was living with some people, and he got in on the start of TV, and I went to Philadelphia with him one time to see the first TV that showed a picture a mile away.
Wow.
And it was just, it was nothing like they are now. It just looked flat, you know, and little dolls moved around.
Well, you said the radio. Do you remember your first radio?
Yeah, they had a whole house full of batteries to run it. And then outside they had wire stretched across for a great big area for antenna.
And what would you listen to?
There's only one station you could listen to, Joplin.
What did they play?
How?
What did they play?
Heck, I don't remember now. Never did bounce a bunch though. But see, that's 16 miles away. I was getting that. And it wasn't very long. They got to where they get a station in Kansas City.
Then you could listen to baseball.
Yeah.
Well, the TV that you went to see in Philadelphia, how did you come to get to do that?
I just on the kind of a man I was living with.
He just wanted to go?
He was a kind of, after, you know, get it straightened out and everything. He's a pretty good electrician.
So you roomed with someone?
Yeah.
You boarded with someone?
Yeah.
Boarded for a while before you got married?
Well, when I was going to school.
Going to school. Okay. Philadelphia is a big city.
I don't remember too much about it.
Just the TV being
I
big.
was pretty young.
That's pretty cool. Well, do you remember seeing your first airplane?
Yes, I did. I couldn't figure out how they kept it up there in the air that way. It wasn't just a few days after I seen it, I seen it again on the ground, nose down. The boy was killed in it.
Oh. So you didn't want to go?
No, I didn't care about airplanes from then on.
Have you ever been on one?
Oh yes, I rode them lately.
Well, yeah, to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
And Philip.
You have anything on your bucket list? Anything you want to do that you've never done before?
I don't know what it'd be. I've done just about the please all my life. I was just a little wild boy.
Little wild.
Now, up in that part of Oklahoma, there's a lot of Native Americans, American Indians. Did you ever have any friends or neighbors? Or
most of the Indians I was around were pretty nice. You know, the Peoria tribe of Indians in Oklahoma is pretty small.
Yeah, that's a small tribe.
And when the Quapos come to Oklahoma, they were pretty small. And of course the Quapos, when they separated, some of them went west out around Bartlesville, changed their name from Quapo to another name. You probably got that in history though.
Well, what was the name?
I can't tell you right now.
Delaware? No, it's not Delaware.
But no, it's not in Delaware. I'd know it if I heard it. But there's quite a few of them up around that neighborhood though. Yeah.
Well, why'd they separate?
They just had a big battle, separated. Had two chiefs was the problem. One of them stayed around Quapaw and the other one went out around Bartlesville.
I know around that area of Miami they have a lot of little tribes.
They had a lot of tribes.
5 or 6 different tribes in Miami and Quapaw and all that area.
11 different tribes.
Any of the men ever work for you? Or did you work with them?
I worked with them a little bit. Some of them come from Oregon. 13 of them made it to Oklahoma.
From Oregon?
From Oregon. I don't remember the tribe now, but I remember some of it, of Indians. But they never really have a tribe here. Yeah, they were settled on a little strip of ground just south of Peoria. About 2 miles south. Well, you know, the Peoria though, they're scattered over quite a ways from the Missouri line plumb to Miami. Place about 3 miles wide.
Yeah.
It's probably got a history though down in there.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't know either, so you know more than us.
Well, I was there reading.
You were there. Did you get into any mischief when you were little?
I done a lot of things I shouldn't have.
Like what?
Like going swimming.
Going swimming where?
In the little creek there at Peoria.
And you weren't supposed to?
I wasn't supposed to, but I did.
Wasn't very deep?
About 2 foot.
No, deep enough to, yeah, for a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And it didn't run all the time, it just hold it, you know.
Well, how would you keep cool in the summer?
We let her go swimming. I wasn't the only one, though. And I've seen girls down there the same way.
Just jump in, huh?
They done worse than that. Took her clothes off, jumped in. Didn't want to get the clothes wet.
Then they'd get in double trouble.
And they were small, though.
Little kids.
Yeah.
So no one would be watching you? You just sneak off?
There's usually some woman back there watching to see that everything went all right.
Small enough, everybody knew everybody?
Yeah, everybody knew everybody.
Well, if you lived with your grandmother, did she can?
There's a lot.
A lot.
She canned a lot.
Had a big garden?
Pretty good size. She always had a garden.
And would she go to the store and buy any groceries?
Yeah. My grandfather worked out someplace. And she sent me down to the store with a dime to get a dime's worth of meat for his dinner bucket.
A dime worth of meat?
Dime's worth of meat.
What kind of meat?
Usually always pork.
Pork. How would she fix it?
I just don't know.
Fried or?
I think most of it was fried. But I went to the store a lot of times and got a dime worth of meat for her.
Well, would she make her own bread or would you buy a loaf of
Yeah,
bread?
she made her own
Made
bread.
her bread.
She raised her own tobacco.
Raised her own tobacco.
She liked her tobacco.
To smoke it or chew it?
Both ways.
Both ways.
And now, did you ever try some of it?
How?
Did you ever try some of her tobacco?
I tried it and made a mistake. I quit.
Well, was she from Oklahoma?
Yeah.
She grew up in Oklahoma?
No, I think Pennsylvania is where she grew up at.
I was just wondering how she learned to grow tobacco, so.
I don't know.
I figured Kentucky or Tennessee, those are
No,
tobacco states.
she was born in Pennsylvania. She was Dutch. She showed it.
She made good desserts then.
I guess so. And some of that tobacco made awful big leaves too that she grew.
Yeah, I understand it's itchy.
Yeah.
I think it's itchy when it gets on you.
Yeah.
It itches. It makes you scratch.
And she'd cut it and hang it up. And she called it a smokehouse.
And
You
more
also-
than one way, huh?
Yeah.
You have to let it dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she would smoke it like a cigarette.
No, it wasn't cigarette, it was an old cob pipe.
Oh, okay.
A cob pipe.
Cob. Yeah, that makes more sense. What?
Corny cob hollered out a little bit, put another stick in it and had a hole in it.
And then.
I don't know how she get a hole through that stick she put in it. She made quite a pipe out of it.
Would her husband smoke too?
Yeah.
They both did? Well, how many children did they have?
Just my dad and one other boy.
So two. So small family.
Small family.
And then you had 6.
And I had 6.
You changed that, huh? Well, what did they all end up doing?
Well, 4 of them are girls, and they've all 4, they're all 4 living, and doing pretty good.
All married?
Yeah, they are now, because one of them got married but just a little over a year ago.
Right.
And my boy, he never did get married, the one that lived. He's in Quapaw. Last time I seen him, he looked like a hermit to me.
So he stayed pretty close
He
to
had a
home.
red beard that hung down to his waist.
So he stayed close to where he grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did the girls stay close?
No, they separated. The oldest girl, well, when she first got married, she went to Colorado, Leadville, Colorado. And she finally wound up in Noel, Missouri. She's been there now, about the last 20 years.
Okay.
And the one just younger than her, she went to Troy, Montana. She's still there. And the next one right over here, I know it. And the youngest is here, just a few blocks down south here.
So the youngest one gets to keep tabs on you more.
The one in Nilo, you keep tabs pretty close.
Well, did they fight much growing up, the 4 girls?
I wasn't around them enough to know, really. You have to get my wife credit for raising them girls. I was always busy getting something from Deed.
Well, when you weren't busy, what would you do with them?
How?
When you weren't working, what would you do with your children?
They stayed at home.
But how would you spend time with them when you had time to
Well,
spend?
I didn't spend a whole lot of time with them. Their mother pretty well grew them up.
Like on Saturdays and Sundays, what would you do with
Oh,
them?
I had a lot of fun with them then.
What would you do?
Different things. And went to a lot of their school plays and things.
Yeah. Play games?
No, not too much for games.
Bicycles?
They had to have them. They had to have them.
Bicycles. What about
And they pretty well managed to get them on their own.
Did they have to work, or did they want to work?
Yeah,
Did they work?
not very much when at home. They got, all of them got married pretty young.
Pretty young. Did they all have blue eyes like yours?
How,
Did they all have blue eyes like yours?
as far as I know,
Now, when history is written, what would you like it to say about you?
when history is written, what is it?
How would you like to be remembered when it's all
Well,
said and done?
I had a pretty rough life. Was pretty young, and I think I done pretty good when I got older and got into the shop. Went to work for outfits called Cox Machinery. Worked there for a good little while. Then if I were to have it myself, still call it Cox Machinery. Never did change the name. Well, they had so much, literature, it was Cox Machinery. I just left it and used it myself. Never changed any name.
Well, good business.
Yeah.
Did you have
So all the history you got on Cox Machinery, I was there the biggest 10 of the time.
Well, how do you want to be remembered when you're gone? How do you want others to remember you?
Just as a happy-go-lucky boy.
Happy-go-lucky boy.
I'm still just a boy in the ways. Just a big boy. Got old. And I figured on a lot of years yet. I think if I looked at the paper rights that they gave me, the 100-year-olds in Oklahoma, and I'm going to outlive any of them.
Well, what advice would you give someone that wants to live 100 years?
Well, that would be hard for me to do, because I made it so doggone easy and so quick.
How did you celebrate your birthday?
Well, I had about 3 days of celebration. On a Saturday, we went to a church deal, and the whole family, a lot of my family was there. It's over 100.
Wow.
And it was a pretty good long day for me. Then Sunday, I went to church and they had a deal for me there. And on my birthday, I was here. They come back, there was another big deal. They took a picture of me on the Monday down here. When I went to the table to eat, they told me, I said a certain place today. I went and I sat down. There was my picture right in front of me. where it'd been in the other room, they took a big cake. There was a whole nice cake. It's still down there on the table.
Had to blow out a lot of candles in 3 days.
There wasn't any candles on that. They didn't want to burn the cake up.
Well, you ate a lot of cake then.
But you go down there right now, that picture is sitting on that table. It says this place is private for Louis Hile.
Well, you're in pretty good shape to be 100, aren't you? You're in pretty good shape.
I'm in pretty good shape.
When did you give up driving?
When I was 90.
You just gave it up, or?
Yeah. I come nearly having an accident. It scared me. They just said, that's it.
Here are the keys.
Give my car away.
What kind was it?
95, it made my Ford. There was a fancy car. What is it called it?
Ford. I don't know my Fords.
Lincoln.
Oh,
95 Lincoln.
A big car. Wasn't a Chevy.
Yeah.
Was not a Chevy.
No, it wasn't a Chevy. It was a Lincoln. It's a Ford product.
Ford.
You seem to be a Ford man.
Yeah, I was pretty much a Ford man. I tried some of them Ford cars that I couldn't get along with them. It might have been good when they knew, but when I got them, it was all gone. They'd already done their job. You know, your foreign cars slow down, I noticed it goes down pretty fast. They don't stand up. They're good looking to start with, but you take them after they're about 3 or 4 years old and look at them, they're about ready for the young pile. I imagine you've noticed it so a little bit.
A little bit.
And they cost more than
A lot, yes.
the cars that stands up.
Yep.
Actually, a Ford and Chevrolet and Dodge, just about the only good cars on the road. You know, that has stood up good.
Yep. Anything else you want to add before we close out?
Nothing I can think about. Only I was just a little poor boy on my own for a lot of years. And I made a living, or lived some way. I never was actually hungry.
No, you did good. Would you sing or go to dances?
I never did go to dances. Because every dance I seen, they always wanted to have a fight. And I wasn't a fighter.
Just wanted to have fun.
And no, it seems like around down in that country, they get a little drink and then go to fighting.
Some things don't change. All right, well, we thank you very much for talking with us today.
Well,
It's been a pleasure.
I didn't have anything planned.
Hey, I'm glad.
We just had a little visit.
We did. Thank you.